Welcome back to Lenz's Comic Corner Classic Non-Classics. This is episode 1422 and Doubleshot number 1316. This is the first of 3 straight comic corners I'm going to do. And yes, there will also be 3 anime reviews today. Those will be Shaman King. Well, yeah, Shaman King is one of them. 7 Deadly Sins, the 2 new anime that aired. Had new episodes aired, like one on Wednesday, the other one yesterday. And of course, our last crusade, The Rise of a New World. That'll be the last one for today. And I think there might be another comic corner after that. I'm not sure. As for if there's going to be another anime coming today, probably not, per se. I know tomorrow, officially, I have one anime to do, and that's Case Close. That is coming back tomorrow. Yep. Alright. Now, I should point out, though, this one is going to be the first. Now, a lot of these next several comic corners I'm going to do are going to be lots of finales, in a way. Now, I should also point out something, though, about this particular trade here. Now, I originally started reviewing this particular trade series, I think it was just a few years ago. Let me take a look here, just to be sure. Let's see. Because the thing is, now, yes, I have reviewed the current volume for the series, the previous volume for X-Force. Well, yeah, this is basically talking about X-Force. Or talking about this one we're talking about the finale, the last trade discussed for this volume, X-Force Volume 1, Angels Demons. The first trade of this trade series. Yeah, the first one. Yes. Now, I have previously reviewed all of Uncanny X-Force. Yep. All the trades for the first volume of the series. Second volume, I'm almost done. I think I got like one left. When it comes to one, yes. Let's see. Okay, how long ago did I review, let's say, volume 1? Let's see. Volume 2 for this trade series, I reviewed back in... Find it here. I believe it's called. Let's see. Okay, I did Volume 2 2 years ago. I did that review with Uncanny X-Force Volume 2 Deathlock Nation. Volume 3, this was back 2 years ago. This was back in August of 2018. Yep, that's when I reviewed this one here. So yeah, basically for the past few years I'm reviewing this trade series. Now, those who know anything about this X-Force, let me give you a little refresher. This, of course, is the start of this particular run. Done by Chris Shows, Craig Cow, and these guys are the writers of this book with Clayton Crane. I have met this guy. Great guy, mean person. Who does the artwork. And here's the interesting thing comes to this artist. He does the entire run. All 20 issues. This here is the start. This is the start of this run. Way back in 2008. Yeah, started in the aftermath of Messiah War. Lasting for a little over 2 years. Of course, this book collects the first 6 issues of this particular run. This, of course, from X-Force Volume 3. The original volume lasted 120 issues. Lasted from 1991. I think it was concluded. I think it was in 2002. I think it was. The second volume was launched, I believe it was like 2003, was the 6-issue miniseries. You have this book here, which lasted 20 issues, and it was replaced with Uncanny X-Force. That one lasted a little bit longer, and then was relaunched, and of course it was Cable X-Force. And then it was a regular X-Force series released back in 2013, I think it was. Lasted for just a little over a year. And then after that, there was no X-Force books for 4 years. And, well, I'll get to more of that in a bit. Simply put for this one, this is simply put just planting the seeds for the epic start for this particular run. Now, of course, this X-Force is not Cable's X-Force. Nope. This is Wolverine's X-Force. This is the Strike Team, not the Black Ops team that Cable first assembled back in Unit number 100. Of course, this team, well, this version anyways, at the start of this lineup, it's comprised of Wolverine, his daughter, Laura McKinley, aka X-23. At this point, she is X-23. We'll accept her as that. Warpath, and Wolfsbane, who does join the team at the start of this run. They also have Archangel join this team with the start of this particular run. Now, of course, also the main villain of the storyline, you see them hunting down the Purifiers. Mainly put, this also, the storyline has debut of Eli Brand. And the whole point of him being here is to set up a crossover that would happen in 2010. Narosha, which later led into Second Coming. Yeah, pretty much the whole point of being there is just set up that particular story, which is excellent, by the way. I'll basically talk about when it comes to final thoughts. And simply put, Bastion gets his hands on this virus known as the Magnus, which apparently is an offspring of the alien creature known as Warlock. As in, Warlock means not Adam Warlock, who's basically going to appear in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And he uses a particular virus to revive a bunch of dead bigots in the Marvel comic universe. Well, Marvel bigots anyways, well, people associated with the X-Men. He revives Bolivar Trask, the creator of the Sentinels. Stephen Lang, the guy who created, I believe, was the Mark III Sentinels, who appeared in a 3-part storyline that lasted from issues 90 to 100 of King X-Men back in the 1970s. We also see the revival of Cameron Hodge. We also see Donald Pierce join this particular group. Yes, and the whole point of this group is the Second Coming. Also, something I got to point out here, in the book, there's no explanation of why their masks are like this. In the book, you have it's where Wolverine and everybody else wears these masks, and their eyes are red. I get the fact they're a Black Ops team, and of course their outfits are gray and black. Now, Wolverine only wears his outfit just in this very series. Now, yes, the guy did appear in this comic outside the comics in Wolverine the X-Men. Yep. Now, you probably think, okay, who besides Bolivar Trask and Stephen Lang did Bastion? Yes, Bastion revive. Well, who he revived is quite interesting to say the least. Let's see if we can find it here. Plus, you gotta love this 2-page spread by Clayton Crane. It was really good. And this is Bastion. Scott Lobdell created this character back in the 90s. And I did talk briefly about Bastion and how much I really enjoyed this character. Okay. The people who he revived are... There is a page here. Here it is. He revives, well, not only Bolivar Trask and Stephen Lang, he also revived Cameron Hodge. He's a character from X Factor, the original group. The Leper Queen, who becomes a primary villain in the storyline. Reverend William Stryker, of course, Donald Pierce is here. And Graydon Greed, Sabretooth's own son. Yes, it is a great 2-page spread. So... yeah, Donald Pierce been revived for quite some time, so basically, everyone else here, with the exception of him and the Leper Queen, everyone else here is basically zombies. Yep, all brought back here. Yep. Oh, and they have the kill count, how mutants they killed. Graydon Creed has killed 147 mutants. Donald Pierce, 348. Stephen Lang has killed the least at 29. Reverend William Stryker, 474. The Leper Queen, 221. Cameron Hodge, who is the founder of the Right. Those wasn't me. Because the Leper Queen's one of the Stephen Lee, William Stryker, Archbishop of the Purifiers, Stephen Lang, head of Project Armageddon, Donald Pierce, the Ravers, Graydon Creed, Friends of Humanity, Bolivar Trask, Avengers of the Sentinels, Mutant Killed. And this is the highest. Probably because what happened, they probably count this as all the mutants killed by the Sentinels. 16,521,618. Wow. Yeah, they included the Sentinel. They included the amount of mutants that were killed during the events of E's for Extinction. When Cassandra Nova said that Wild tries Sentinels to massacre the entire population. And apparently because the Sentinels were basically created by him, so they consider that as part of his kill count. Which, wow, that's a lot of people. And it's something, though. Like, everybody else has got very high kill count for mutants they killed. But Stephen Lang has got the lowest at 29. I'm like, wow, that is quite something to say the least. Now, do they deal with William Stryker here? Not really, no. We also have it where, once again, Warren gets his wings removed and replaced with metal wings. The last time this happened, where he got replaced with the feather wings with the metal wings, he did this. This was done to him by Apocalypse back in the 1980s. This was done off screen, mind you. Yes. And look, you actually have him back in the old costume. Even his skin is blue. Yeah. This becomes a plot thread that I actually recommend her pick up. Where they're going back and forth between him being Archangel and Warren. Yep. I gotta say, this is a really good start to this particular run. Yep. And for such a fantastic story, I give this book roughly 9.5 out of 10. Final thoughts on this particular, on this volume of X-Force. Now, I don't own Narosha or Second Coming, but these are the trades I own. Of course, you have the original trade, which I just reviewed here. You have Volume 2 Ghost. Messiah War, excellent crossover. You have Not Forgotten. And of course, that leads into the events of Narosha. An excellent crossover. Yeah, it is a really good crossover. I mean, who would suspect at that point in time, in the case of when you first started reading this run back in 2008, that this opening story arc for X-Force Volume 3 would later set up two crossovers. First being Narosha, which kind of in a way, in my opinion, it was Marvel's take on the Blackest Night event. Though mostly it did involve like reviving all the dead characters who died over the years rather than zombies, that event focused mostly on the X-Men. It's an excellent crossover. I highly recommend checking it out. Even the following crossover, Second Coming. Of course, Narosha just crossed over with X-Force, New Mutants, and X-Men Legacy. Though of the three books, New Mutants, X-Men, and X-Force did closely tie to each other. X-Men Legacy had its own standalone story that took place during this particular event. And then, of course, that led into Second Coming, which pretty much wrapped up at that point in time 4 years worth of storytelling. Yeah, Second Coming was something they built up over the course of 3 years. Of course, I crossed over with this book, which actually ended this particular run, and of course was relaunched in Candy X-Force. Of course, you have Candy X-Men, X-Men Legacy, New Mutants. Even, yeah, and those four are the main books. We even had X-Factor tying into this, yes. Yeah, how they dealt with, like, Bolivar Trask, like, a lot of the characters associated with Bastion are dealt with in the main story. Bolivar Trask is not. He is actually taken care of in a side story. Which you're probably thinking, that's weird. Why the heck would they deal with Bolivar Trask, the guy inventing the Sentinels, in a side story? I mean, who the heck knows what the reason for that was, but everyone else got killed off over the course of the main story. And if you think about it, almost all of them are all still dead. Though Bastion was later brought back in the pages of X-Men Blue. Back in, I think it was like 2017 when he came back. Yeah, he was dead for 7 years. He was dead. And then he was brought back in X-Men Blue, which is a great comic book. It's basically just a lot of fun and a lot of creative freedom, basically what they were doing with the book. As for everybody else, Stryker himself was later brought back in the pages of Weapon X, and then he died again. Yep. As for everybody else, Bolivar Trask, still dead. Cameron Hodge, still dead. Graydon Creed was briefly revived toward the end of Weapon X, and I don't know what his status is currently. No, I don't really know what his status is currently. Donald Pierce, killed off in that particular crossover, but then he was later rebuilt because he's a cyborg. Cameron Hodge actually came back briefly after this in another comic. Though when he got killed off by Warlock. Which was so awesome, the fact that Warlock got killed off a particularly very popular villain. Like Cameron Hodge. A guy most associated with X Factor. This, of course, is the original X Factor. Yep, Stryker himself. Like, how did he die previously? Well, he got killed by Joshua Howler, who was known as Elixir. That's how he died. Stephen Lang died when his space station crashed to Earth. As for in the case of Graydon Creed, he was killed by a Mystique from the future. That's how he died. In the case of, well, Eli Brand, he was somebody associated with Selene, though he got later killed off in the events in Hiroshima, and he's still dead. Selene herself later came back in another comic book. Yep. Moving on to something really excellent like X-Force, which is a great comic book, by the way. Move on to the second to last trade for Monsters Unleashed, collecting issues 6 through 12 of this short-lived series. Yep. I mean, the biggest thing about this book is you have Kid Kaiju coming face-to-face with Fing Fang Foom. Yep. And, of course, he has his own monsters. He has a brief account. He has basically a team up toward the end of the series with Moon Girl. Of course, Double Dinosaurs in here, which is purely awesome. Alyssa Bloodstone continues to appear in the series. And it's fairly heavily hinted that the Kid Kaiju might have a crush on Alyssa Bloodstone. It's implied, though he basically look up to her like a big sister. Yep. But this book is just actually pretty good. Yep. Written by Cullen Bunn, artwork by... Excuse me. Oh, yeah, also this book is called Learning Curve. Cullen Bunn leaves after issue number 8 and hands off the last 4 issues to Justin Jordan. Unknown the reason for this. I thought it was kind of weird, the fact seeing this. You have Andrea Paracco, that's issue 6 to 8. Francisco Goshen does issue 9. Boston does issue 10. Alex Armande does issue 11. Alberto Albuquerque does issue number 12. Yep. More like monster stuff, basically, for this one. But not a lot to say about this one. It's just a good series. 9.5 out of 10. Final thoughts on this really short-lived series? Yeah, this was a series that I kind of felt as though was a bit unnecessary. Yeah, these two are the only 2 trades that collect this whole entire series. Yeah, you're probably thinking, that's a surprise. Like, only just 2 trades while it was a 12-issue series. Yes, the thing with this series was that at the time, this was completely unnecessary. I still read it mainly because Cullen Bunn wrote it. Yes, but the series itself really was completely unnecessary. As for Kid Kaiju himself, I think he's popped up once since the series wrapped up. I think he popped up in like a team book. And that's been it for the character. It's almost like, what was the point of having Kid Kaiju show up and he does not do anything with him afterwards? Yeah, but not much to say about it. It's a good series. Just check it out if you want to. Access Flying 3, you gotta check it out. It's really good. Yep. So yeah, that's it, particular view. Next one, another finale and the start of a trade series. Okay? To the next video. Bye.